If you're a freelancer and you want to change your business forever, you need to learn these 3 magical words, this one simple acronym that is M.L.E. Minimum level of engagement. A minimum level of engagement is a healthy way to set the standard as a freelancer. It's gonna help you make more money, it's gonna help you land better clients and work on better projects. You're gonna be happier, you're gonna be healthier, and you're gonna be raking in that dough. So let's talk about your M.L.E. and how we get it going. An M.L.E., a minimum level of engagement, is a set of prerequisites. It is a policy. It is a rule inside of your business that says we will not work for less than X amount of money. It's a way for you to create an expectation and also maintain and protect your value so that you don't work for less than you're actually worth and that you can actually take on the types of projects you want and make the type of money that you need to make. The freelance experience is a vast one with lots of different seasons. I'm telling you, the moment that you establish a minimum level of engagement for your freelance business, you will go further faster. So how do you set up an M.L.E.? How do you even go about establishing what's fair, what's right, and how much money you think you should make? Well, first, I would say you need to assess what the fair market value is for the type of work that you do and the quality of work that you do. Let's say you're making framer websites, that's your jam, that's what you do, and you look around, you see a lot of people making framer websites for somewhere between $2,000 to $7,000. There's a fair market value in there for creating framer websites. Now, if you're just starting out, you're a little less confident, a little less skilled, you probably want to be on the lower side of that. If you are way more experienced and your capabilities are much higher, you might want to be on the higher side of that. But somewhere in there, you're going to find the fair market value for the type of work that you do and the quality of that work. I think within finding that fair market value, there is a real important piece there where you have to find the types of projects you want to do. Taking on branding and brand strategy and packaging work is very, very different than making one-page landing pages inside of Webflow or Framer. That's a very different process. It's a different crowd. There are different price points and demographics that it caters to. So figuring out what type of work you want to do, who that core customer is, matters a lot in this scenario. So let's go back and use our example of building marketing websites in something like Webflow or Framer. It's something that you do in 3 to 4 weeks. You've gotten pretty good at it. The range that you've found, that fair market value, is somewhere between $3,000 and $8,000. You've been doing it for a little bit. And so you want to do these types of projects, but you don't want to do them for less than $5,000, let's say. Once you've done all of that work, established what fair market value is, the type of work, the type of customer, the expectations you have for yourself with your workload, you'll then establish that M.L.E., whatever it is, let's say $5,000 for marketing websites inside of something like Webflow or Framer. You then want to make sure that from the outset of every customer engagement, you communicate your minimum level of engagement to them. I know, this sounds weird. Like before you've even talked about their project, before you've even really interviewed them, you're gonna have to say, hey, just so you know, my minimum level of engagement is X amount of dollars. And that might seem really uncomfortable to a lot of you, but freelancers are primarily business people. It's not a bad thing. No one's gonna look down on you for it. Instead, you're gonna appear very professional and ready to do professional level work. Let's talk about why an M.L.E. will work so well for your business. Number one, it is a policy. It is protocol. It's not your opinion. It's not your thoughts. It's simply a policy of your company, and clients very rarely will argue with policy. If your policy is that you don't take calls on Saturdays and Sundays, that's the policy of the company. If your policy is a minimum level of engagement, they don't question it. But because you know what your M.L.E. is and it is your policy, then it becomes one of those non-negotiables, and the less negotiables you can have in some sort of client interaction, the better it's going to be for you. Number two, it sets an anchor or a floor for all of your following business. If they know that your M.L.E. is $5,000, that means we're not going beneath that, but we can most definitely go above that if your client would like you to. And so it sets that anchor and it protects you from having to negotiate your way up from that low price. Number three, it weeds out bad clients. It's a vetting tool. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, Jesse, I'd love to work with you, I say, hey, that sounds great. I have some openings in this next quarter. My M.L.E. is ... And they say, ooh, we can't do that. That's fine. Doesn't mean you're going to be a bad client. It just means you're not going to be the right fit for me because these are the types of projects projects I like to do with the types of timelines and the types of budgets. So no harm, no foul. I hope I can find somebody to refer you to. Number 4, it's going to save you tons of time. The last thing you want to do is spend your time writing tons of proposals to clients that are never going to say yes because you are outside of their budget. By setting that M.L.E. and vetting that potential client, you are going to have a much higher success rate when you send proposals across the board. If you're watching this and you're saying, all of this sounds great, I like the idea, but how do I communicate this minimum level of engagement to potential clients? The first way we've already kind of discussed, and that's to talk about it immediately in your very first consultation or phone call that you have with a potential client. Hey, just so you know, my minimum level of engagement is X amount of dollars. Does that work for you? Another way to communicate your minimum level of engagement is to do it over a longer period of time. Maybe you don't want to work for small dollar amounts, you want more high ticket clients. Well, you can do that, but you just need to communicate it over a period of time. So you might say something like, my minimum level of engagement is $50,000 over the course of 12 months. Now your client knows that you are capable right off the bat of doing large projects with large budgets, but you like to spread that over a larger period of time. It creates consistent revenue with ongoing clients. And the truth is, it's much easier as a freelancer to service your current clients well and continue to do that to bring in revenue than it is to constantly turn over and go find new clients. So by establishing this retainer or this ongoing work with your minimum level of engagement, that tells your client that you're serious about creating a professional, ongoing working relationship with them. Before we go, I want to reiterate 2 large main points about your minimum level of engagement. Number 1, it must be fair market value. You can't say that your minimum level of engagement is $100,000 for a 1-page landing page. It's just not going to make sense, and this minimum level of engagement that you've set, and that crazy minimum level of engagement is going to get you minimum clients or none at all. And number 2, the faster that you address money, the more that your clients will respect you and respect your process. As a professional, it just makes sense. So get to that conversation as soon as you possibly can. That's what a minimum level of engagement is, and that's how you establish one for your freelance business. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and check the description for some helpful links on freelancing. You might even consider signing up for my freelance kickstart experience. The link is down in the description, and you can learn a ton more advanced topics to kickstart your freelance business. I hope that you're having an amazing week. I hope you're designing amazing things, making amazing things, and crushing it in your freelance business. We'll see you in the next one.